Well, we are live. Let me flip this camera around real quick. Guys, if you are watching, we're going to put you on mute for just a second. We're going to get started. Huge thank you to Rainbow City for hosting us in their city hall. It's a good venue, I think, to get things rolling. And I will give a shout out. First time we're doing this, but the Willow Tree is sponsoring this one. They have been a huge supporter, as many of you know. For the last 2 years now, with a lot of stuff that we've done through Advanced Etowah, and they are continuing to support with some financial support to keeping this stuff rolling. So huge thank you to the Willow Tree and the ladies over there, and the one or two men at the Willow Tree, one man at the Willow Tree. So thank you guys for your support, and they're going to be supporting another one of the roundtables that we'll be doing after May 24th, which May 24th is a critical date as we sit here with these county commissioners, because that is the day that everything gets decided. If anyone in Etowah County is on the ballot for the primaries for May 24th, that is the only opportunity that you have to pick a winner, because whoever makes it through, they'll be the only name on the ballot. So please tell your friends, tell your colleagues. I've talked to a lot of people that are completely unaware that May 24th is the election. It's not just another primary. So be aware of that. We'll be right back with you in just a second. All right, guys. So as y'all are jumping in, please somebody let me know you got a good audio in the comments. I just want to do a quick equipment check and make sure everything was working well, and it looks like it is. So without further ado, we will get started. And I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see them, because you really don't want to talk to me. So we are tonight. We've got the roundtable with the Etowah County Commissioners. Huge thank you guys for showing up. I will say, of course, everyone that is a candidate. There are 6 commissioner candidates right now. All of them were absolutely invited, and 3 elected not to attend tonight. So for the 3 of you that showed up, we appreciate it. I know y'all are extremely busy, especially on Friday the 13th. We did Cinco de Mayo last week. This week we're doing Friday the 13th. I'm not liking the trend on some of this stuff, but thank you guys for coming in and giving us the time and talking through some of these issues. I appreciate. I've gotten a chance to sit down with each of you on a one-on-one basis. You've all answered some questions, and yeah. So we were just talking before we jumped on live. May 24th, you guys are going to be done, I guess, so to speak. So that is that's got to be a little bit of relief, but we're getting into the 11th hour here. So thank you guys. How are y'all doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing good. Carolyn, you doing all right?
I am.
All right. So for those of you watching, please, if you are having audio issues with them up there, let me know sooner rather than later, so we don't sit here for an hour and talk, and then everybody just complains that I couldn't hear so and so. So we'll try and get that remedied as quickly as we can. So as we followed with the format of all of these, we're not reinventing any wheels. We are, we've been issues focused, and I have intentionally set up the questions just like we've done all along as fairly generic questions, giving you guys the opportunity to dive into as much detail as you feel necessary to answer the questions. My opinion is you guys know the issues better than I do. And that's just me as an individual. I know there's plenty of citizens out there that probably know the issues better than you. But for the most part, especially the three of y'all who have been doing this for a couple of years, you guys are getting out and talking to people. You know what people want and care about. And those are the things that I want to leave room for you guys to talk about and address. And we'll have some discussion. Same format as we did with the state reps. Whoever goes first will get 2 minutes, and I'll throw a clock up there, and then we'll do follow-ups with 1 minute. And since there's only three of you, of course, I'll probably be pretty lax. But just don't go on for 5 minutes. We'll be good. So, all right, without further ado, again, guys, if you're watching, if you drop some questions in there, I'm probably not going to pick them up tonight, just with this format. It's not super conducive to doing that. But what I do encourage, if you drop a question in there, I would encourage all the candidates, as I have all along, jump back in the comments later on after tonight sometime. And if somebody's got some questions that you'd like to address, jump in there and answer them in the comments and let them know. And of course, I would encourage all of you guys to head over to advancedetowah.com and go check out our candidate profiles. We've got links to get in touch with all these guys. I'm sure half of you watching probably already know how to get in touch with these guys. It's not super hard, and I know none of them would mind if you reach out to them. And you want more information about certain topics. So, that being said, let's jump into our first one. And our first one is leadership. Who drew the leadership card?
That would be me.
All right, Mr. Overstreet. So let me get a timer on the clock. You are good to go whenever you'd like to start. And I'm sorry. It's a Friday, late Friday. I should probably ask the question, shouldn't I? All right, guys. So what type of leadership should citizens expect out of our elected officials? So over to you, Jeff, whenever you want to start.
Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all hosting this evening. Leadership to me is going to be basically servant leadership. That's, I believe you have to lead from the front. You don't lead from the back. You lead from the front. And you have to lead with a humble heart. You have to be willing to listen to your constituents, hear what they have to say, take into consideration what they have to say, and follow their lead. They're the ones that elected you. They're the ones that voted you in. They're the ones that had the confidence in you to do the job. So I think you have to lead by example. And you have to lead by example of listening. I think you need to have strong ethics. I've heard it said before that there's a difference between legal and ethics. Legal, you can get right up to the edge as long as it's still legal. Ethics, you've got to be able to determine what is ethically right and what is ethically pure and ethically wrong and ethically impure, and then make that determination, stay on the line with that. Be a quality leader. I think that's very important. You have to be a quality leader. You always have to shoot for the highest standard. It's always important to be sure that whatever you do, that you strive for the best, because you owe that to your constituents, the people that voted you in. And ask questions. Value the opinion of others. I think that's very important. It's very important to value the opinion of the people that elected you. It's important to value the opinion of the people that are around you and hear what they have to say. Understand there are constraints that fall on everyone, and in our situation is no different. And as far as county commissioners go, we do have legal and financial constraints that we have to work with. But that being said, doing everything that we possibly can to listen and to do what is asked of us, then I think that's the important thing that we have to look at as leaders. And I think that applies to everything across the board, not just county commission. Thank you.
All right. Tim, we'll roll it over to you to follow up for 1 minute.
Okay, well, thank you. And thank you for letting us be here tonight. I think Jeff touched on that right there at the end about leadership and listening. Knowing what the people want. If you're their leader, obviously you've got to have a direction that you intend to go, a direction that you are shooting for. But when you start leading people and you are elected to lead them and you're elected to be their voice, then you have to have that ability to stop what you're doing and listen to what they're saying. I think that is a huge part of being an active and engaged leader. And that's part of it too, is just being engaged. Being engaged with the people that you are serving matters most. You know, getting out in my district and just meeting the people, that has been a lot of fun. It's very rewarding to get with people and find out what they need and be able to help that. I know that's kind of off the subject of being a leader, but being a leader is just a strong, I don't know what you would call that. It's an attribute that you either have or you don't have. And being in this position, you need to have an attribute of being a leader. And I really believe I've got that, and I enjoy using it. Thank you.
All right. Carolyn?
Just echo what the guy said. Thank you for having us tonight. Thank you to Rainbow City for hosting. To me, a leader is always accessible. They're fair. They're transparent. I think you have to be inclusive, keep people informed and educated on the issues, whether they're popular or not, and be open-minded, because just because the people elect you doesn't mean you know everything, and be willing to pivot if you need to, and not just be stuck in one frame of mind. So that's what's important to me as far as being a leader. And I always talk about erring on the side of people and not government, because it's the people that put you in the office.
All right. Well, we're going right out of the chute. I'm going to start with a follow-up on this, and I think it's a fairly fair question, because all three of you have, you're either sitting as a current county commissioner or you've been county commissioners previously. So let's narrow that down, and I'll give you 1 minute each. What should we expect from a leadership perspective, out of the Etowah County Commission in our community? Does that make fair sense? So I'll throw it right back at Carolyn, and we'll go back in reverse order. But what should we expect from a leadership perspective out of the I mean, like, out of the Etowah County Commission as a whole? Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we should be able to expect from our county commission a county commission that puts the needs of the people first, a county commission that does their homework, a county commission that's knowledgeable on the issues, and if they're not knowledgeable, that takes the time to educate themselves on important issues and matters and policies that affect the people of Etowah County.
Okay. Tim?
I would say that as far as the Etowah County Commission goes, and the leadership that we should have as a commission, would be the leadership of the county. We should be the hub of the county. We should be bringing all the entities together and working as that center hub of the county. That's actually what I believe we are. And I believe we're doing a good job of that right now, just bringing in the cities and the people in the outlying parts of the counties and get us in all to working in one accord. I really believe that is the central part of what we should be doing as a county commission in our leadership role.
All right. Jeff, over to you.
County Commission, for several years, we were called road commissioners across the state, and that was our main deal, was taking care of roads. We are now the custodians of the county. We're the ones that handle the finances. There's millions of dollars come into the county commission each year, and I had the opportunity to be involved in handling that money, making sure that it got to where it needed to be through the revenue office, make sure the budgets were done right, and we did that in a wonderful way. And I think it is incumbent on us to make sure that whatever is done as county commissioners, that we do it to the best of our ability. The people are depending on us to make sure that the finances of this county are handled properly and correctly, and that the investments are done right and things are done correctly and properly. And I think that's something that people expect. It's something they deserve, and that is my commitment if I'm reelected, is to handle that business properly.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move it along to government structure. Who drew that one? All right. So we're going to start this one off with Tim. So we've talked a lot. I've talked with all three of you. Government structure from a lot of different aspects. From board appointees to the very nature of some of the bodies of government that we've got operating around. Around here, obviously out of the rendering plant, things like the IDA, the airport authority, those are critical things. I know there's others that probably have issues that we aren't aware of, just because of kind of the focus that we've been in with Advanced Etowah. And there are other boards and entities and government structures that are exactly the way they should be. So I don't want anybody to misconstrue that we think the entire government of Etowah County needs to be thrown out, and start over. But certainly we've identified a few critical issues. So what can be done at the county level to create a more transparent and collaborative government in Etowah County? That's definitely one that we have seen. When you've got several surrounding municipalities threatening to sue another neighboring municipality, that doesn't seem very collaborative. What from a county level, so as county commissioners, what can you do to create a more transparent and collaborative government here in our county? So, Tim?
Going back to what you were talking about, I think there was a point in this whole conversation where the sentiment of everybody was the government was broken, and this thing is a mess, everything is wrong. But the truth was, much of it was right. Much of it is right, and it's still working well. The thing that we need to be doing as county in the county level and as county commissioners is exactly what we are doing. We are setting an example of a group of people who are working well together. We're setting an example of a group of people who are working well with the cities around us and working in conjunction. It's a prime example. It was 2 weeks ago when we partnered with Rainbow City, and really a historic thing that has not been done here in my lifetime is that kind of partnership that is going to move us forward at the mega site with the entities or the infrastructure that we need. Is exactly what we're talking about to make this government right. So we at the county level, I believe, are setting an example of how it should be. And so there was some issues going on in the back, and most of that has got to do with personalities. Most of it has to do with transparency and the lack of. And so I think that there's really nothing wrong with the government itself. It is more of getting making sure that people are transparent, making sure that our government is serving the people, and making sure that we as a group of citizens or group of commissioners are serving the citizens, and then at the same time serving the surrounding cities, so that we are bringing us all together and moving us forward.
Okay. Then over to you, Jeff.
And I think well, and first of all, let me just say this: without interfering with current government structure, I want to make sure we put that in current government that are in place. The best option I can come up with is just continuous conversation. I think one of the things that has been missed over the last 20 years, and it's something that I tried to always do whenever I was on county commission, was to communicate with the people and communicate with the city councils and the fire departments and the police departments and the mayors, and try to communicate with people and let them know you're here to assist them. County commission is kind of limited on what we can do, on what our involvement is, and how we can help. But our responsibility is to assist, and I think that's one of the things that we need to try to do, is to assist, to help out counties or cities with their individual endeavors, and then anything they want to do cooperatively with another city. I think that's our responsibility to do that. But the biggest thing is just making sure that we do that.
All right. Carolyn, over to you.
I always think when people are, in the seat, whether it's myself or Commissioner Ramsey or Commissioner Overstreet, that people who go into politics, most of the time they go into it for the right reasons, and they believe that they're doing things the right way. And I guess, the proof is always in the pudding, what was accomplished, when those people were in the office. And so one thing that I didn't try to do that I did as a county commissioner, was I did collaborate with the cities of Etowah and the cities of Gaston, and those two were in District 5, and even the town of Ridgeville that was not in my district, but it was a predominantly African-American sector of the community that often needed some additional assistance. And so I was glad to do that. And so I think that I've always collaborated, and not just with the municipalities and the townships, but also, as Commissioner Overstreet said, with the people, the constituents. And the constituents are really the boss, the county. That's who you work for, the people that elect you, the people that vote for you. And so I think if you listen to the people and err on the side of the people, that you will get it right 90% of the time. I think the issues come into play when, one or two people decide that, I think it's a good idea to do something, and then they execute on it, without having any involvement. And so one thing that I think is important is, as Commissioner Overstreet said, is communication. And so another thing I did was to make sure that I went to the radio stations. I went to, for a time, did some infomercials, and just tried to educate people on what's going on. Whether it's popular or not, people deserve to know.
All right. So we'll move on to the next one, and I think, which I think Mr. Overstreet already kind of touched on, one of the critical things of the commission. So let's talk infrastructure. Who got the infrastructure?
I did.
Was that Carolyn? Okay. So, and before I get into the question, I will say, if you guys that are listening, whenever you watch this, if you're watching now, I know I've had a few good discussions with, I think, all three of you on kind of what does when we talk about roads, and the history of the commission. We got some good lessons on different things, different kind of the way the pot of monies are divided up, and maybe some of that has got some history that doesn't necessarily make sense today, and all of that kind of stuff. So we don't need to necessarily dive deep into that when we're talking about infrastructure. But I would encourage you to go back and watch the interviews that we've done with these three, and I promise you, from each of them, you'll learn a little something And if you don't, then you're way more knowledgeable than I am. So maybe it's just me and I don't know all that much, which is possible. I'm game for that possibility. So infrastructure, again, critical thing that we talked about through the rendering plant. Obviously, the sewage issue, major issue. Everybody complains and complains about road alignments on their cars. Although we certainly have seen quite a bit of stuff. The 759 announcement that just came out again, that came out several years ago, and I'm hopeful, as many are, that that'll come to fruition one day. But those kind of infrastructure issues, what do you think about, or what do you think are the top 1 to 3 infrastructure issues that need to be addressed in Etowah, and why? And I guess I would say what I'd like to hear from you guys is not necessarily just stuff you're limited to being able to affect. Although, and maybe we'll circle that back around to that, because I know, obviously building roads is a critical piece, but just from everybody working together as an entire government to identify what's going on in Etowah County and prioritize things. What are your 1 to 3 critical infrastructure issues that are most important that need to be addressed?
Okay, for me, drainage in District 5 is major, and so I'll say District 5 because that's what I'm running for. So in the city limits of Tyler and Gaston, drainage is a major issue. For the county as a whole, people having access to clean water. I know for a fact there's issues with our, water system. And sometimes the water system is overtaxed here, just making sure that we have adequate drainage and access to clean water. Alleviating, since you said not just specifically what a county commissioner does, but alleviating the traffic. And oftentimes, it's a big announcement this past week or last week on the 759 extension. Oftentimes, it's usually not one person or 2 people. They go to the Montgomery or Washington, and then they come back and make something happen overnight. It's something that's usually been in the works for years to come. When I was on the county commission, I certainly worked quite a bit with Director Cooper and Congressman Etowah and the state legislators. I'm trying to get 759 extended as well, and so glad to see that happening. But it's not something that just happened with people that are just currently in office. It's something that people worked on prior to my being on the county commission, and since I've been off the county commission, and so it's been, I think, collaboration and of all sorts of people in all districts, over time. And so traffic gridlock is major here in Etowah County, in the city limits of Gaston. Sometimes what should be a 5-minute commute is a 20-minute commute, and so alleviating traffic is another major issue, I think.
All right. Well, I will say, if you want perspective, go over to the West Coast, sit in LA traffic, and it'll make you feel like Gadsden's not all that bad. But yeah, definitely, it's one of the things I love about this community is you can typically get everywhere you need to go fairly quickly. So, but definitely, lots of room to grow there. So, all right, Tim, you want to start off next with you get 1 minute to talk about infrastructure.
This is about a 15 or 20-minute question, but infrastructure, there's really 3 major things that we're got to address, and the sewage and drainage issues are obviously there. Broadband is a huge issue, and I'd like to touch on that real quick and get off of it. But one of the great things about broadband is we just passed, or the legislature just passed some new legislation that will allow us to be able to do from a little bit more freedom in what we can do to get broadband out there, and I'm excited about that. But the major issue that I have are my roads. District 4 roads are horrible, and it's not getting better quickly. Doing all the looking and researching and all that stuff, I realized that in 2008 they borrowed about $10 million, and we're still almost got that paid off. We'll pay it off next year. It's about $1 million a year to pay on that bond from back then. They paved a bunch of roads, but now they're all wearing out at one time. And that's what the problem is. We're going to have to do something major on the county level. And really the terrible thing about that is to redo those same roads that we did for $10 million in 08 and 09. It's going to take about 30 million now. And so it's a major hill for us to come over. But the roads are the thing that I'm working the most on.
Okay. Over to you, Jeff.
Well, I think the infrastructure is just it's basic physical needs for operating a society, and so that's pretty well the definition of what infrastructure is. So it goes far beyond just roads and bridges, which is what we mainly focus on, and of course that is our main focus is roads and bridges. But you've also got water, you got waste management, aviation. There's so many different things you have to focus on. But I think one of the biggest things that we need to focus on right now, besides the roads and the bridges that are so prevalent at the county level, is like what Tim said about broadband. I think that is a huge issue right now, because as we have seen what's taking place with COVID a couple of years ago, and we've started to go do a lot of remote work, not just schooling, but also actual employment. I think it's important that we have proper broadband in place in Etowah County and in the rural areas, so that people can do the work that they need to, whether it be education or work that they need to do. There was an infrastructure study done in 2015 that said if we didn't do something, we'd be in gridlock in 15 to 20 years, and so that's hopefully something that we're going to have to address that at some point.
All right. All right. I'm getting one comment that somebody said they can't hear anything. Christy, can you hear stuff coming through? All right. So it's not uncommon, guys. I've had a few glitches. If you're watching on Facebook, you might try closing out the app and coming back in. Or it may be as simple as turn the volume up on your phone. Not accusing you of not trying that first, but I have had that happen a time or two doing these. But let me know if it persists. If other people are having issues, then we'll try and troubleshoot. But I'm going to move on and hope that that's just an issue with your particular setup. All right. So, guys, we are halfway through the questions. And I think, I appreciate y'all chiming in. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not missing anything out of there. Again, if somebody just let me know and give me a good warm fuzzy that we've got good audio out there, that would help me out a bunch. But thanks for tuning in. Again, May 24th. That is a critical day. I've talked to a lot of people that don't understand what's happening this year with the primaries and how critical that is. But basically, the short answer is anybody that's getting voted on the primaries, that's the vote. That's the election for them. So please don't assume that anyone else knows that. If you're a boss, if you're a business owner, please inform your folks. I've talked to some other people, and I get it right now. A lot of folks, it's May, it's insanity season. School's going on, people are getting married, people are all sorts of crazy May stuff going on. But guys, we can't miss May 24th. So please make sure that you're putting that on your calendar and that you're talking to people. And I know people are tired of talking about politics. So I'm not suggesting you go talk about politics at the bar all night tonight or tomorrow night, but at least just mention it, please. That's what I'll say about that. And we will move on to the next one, talking about education. Who got education?
I got education.
You got education. All right. So education, as I've said before, was kind of a different aspect of what we kind of talked through with the rendering plant. Sounds like a lot of good stuff going on in our education system around here. But the question is, what are the key aspects of the Etowah school systems that impact our ability to grow and or recruit industries with higher wages? And I will certainly say, there's limited impact that the county commission can have directly on the school systems, in terms of a responsibility level and a management level. But certainly, I think we've all identified the importance of education and industry recruitment. And given that the county commission and now partnered with Rainbow City are trying hard to get in major industry into our mega site, that's a critical piece. So there, I'd like to hear your thoughts. What are the key aspects of the Etowah school systems that impact our ability to grow and or recruit industries with higher wages?
Well, back to what you said, we do have a great education system, and I'm very proud of the system we have. We're very fortunate to have the system that we have in Etowah County with the Career Tech Center there, and then obviously Gadsden State sitting over there with all of its attributes. We have advanced technology that we're hoping to be implemented. We put in we didn't put in, but I put in a letter of recommendation, and they got a grant. It sounds like it might get approved for a advanced technology center over at Gadsden State. Kind of been put on a little bit hold because of the 759 thing, but we're looking very optimistic at that happening. But what is happening in our education system in this county is spot on for what we need. I think that's going to be a big attribute to us as a county when we are looked at by industry, that we have people right here, facilities right here next door to them, and all we need to know is what you need. If they need a lot of welders, then we can help up. We can amp up our welding program. If they need a lot of electricians, then we can do that. We have what they need. We just need to know what it is. We have the education system here to be able to put that in place, and I'm very proud of that. Let me touch on that. On the county level, limited on what we can do, but we can help them with funding. We can help to push it forward. We can help them, get the grants like we did for the advanced technology system.
All right. Jeff, over to you.
Well, I believe that the long-term vision for education has changed from what it was 20 years ago. I think, we're doing COVID exposed a lot of different holes in our education system that our administrators and our teachers plugged with limited resources, and they did a fantastic job. I just want to give them kudos right now. They did a fantastic job, but it made aware of issues that now that we have from a remote standpoint, and also on-the-job training, apprenticeships, things you used to hear about, but things now that are actually reality. They're actually happening, and so I think the greater career opportunities for our children, I think it comes down to preparing our young people for opportunities to come. Kids are maturing at such a faster rate right now with their skill sets. And I think it's our responsibility to diversify and to develop those skill sets to give them the opportunity to do that. And find out, and like Tim said, find out what people need, find out what they need, what companies need, and then ramp up your operations to be able to fill those needs.
Okay. Carolyn, over to you.
Well, I agree with both the guys on what they said, but also I think making sure that we have more collaboration between all three school systems, the Gadsden City School System, the Etowah County, and the City of Etowah, as well as Gadsden State Community College, and even community colleges outside of Etowah County, that we need to collaborate, because they all often offer different programs that can lend to our workforce development programs here. So also, Snead State or University of Alabama, whatever entity it may be, Auburn University, and making sure that we do our part in making sure that they have the most advanced and latest technology is important. And technology is constantly changing. It used to be that technology, changed, roughly around every 2 years, and that's almost every 6 months. So just making sure that our kids our students of all ages have access to the latest technology, and also making sure that we're creating a culture that's inclusive of, when they have remote studies like with COVID or a pandemic, when you may have to be at home, and that we don't miss out on anything, or that our kids or our student bodies don't fall behind because we need to be at home or working remotely. So.
Okay. Well, so from and a follow up, and I'm gonna hit on this because Tim mentioned it, and I've heard a few, and I don't want to get into a bunch of details of it, but I'll throw it as a hypothetical. You're talking about the 759 project, and the maybe a little conflict with the what are they called, the Career Tech Center,
Advanced Technology
Center. So. And I'm not saying, and I don't want to start rumors that we're having to pick one or the other, but I think it does bring up a good just kind of mindset question as we talk about education and we're talking about infrastructure, and ultimately what we're saying as Advanced Etowah is we got to get better jobs, we got to get better businesses in here, and we've got to raise wages, or else a lot of other things just are going to become less important. So. With that in mind, if you had to pick one, not saying that you do, again, I don't want to start any rumors going around town, but if you had to pick one on where we're spending money, where we're spending state dollars, federal dollars, and building, what's your opinion on picking 759 versus the Advanced Tech Center? So, Tim, since you kind of mentioned it again, I'm not saying you got to pick one or the other, but I just kind of like your thoughts on that.
I may throw this pen at you for that question. I mean, I'm not going to pick one or the other. We can have both of those. And 759 pretty much, and they call it the Eastern Connector. Don't call it 759 Extension because that's not the thing, but according to Mr. Cooper. But it is pretty much set on where it's got to go.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's got to go pretty well there. It's just really a logistics thing. It's not going to be a problem either way. We hopefully the Advanced Technology Center has not been awarded. It's not been announced. It's not whatever. We're just very hopeful for it, and I need to make sure that is clear.
Yeah, and again, so, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
We're very optimistic.
I don't.
We need it so much, and the state's right behind us. And we've got everything we need here. It really feels good, like it can be here, but we can move it,
right,
a little bit, whatever we need to make it happen. But I think the problem is they just need the drawings of 759. What are we talking about here? We need to know where this thing's got to go, and I think that's the problem.
And I'm assuming that will all get worked out, and I'm assuming they're both going to get built, or at least I'm hoping that they will. But in your mind, says we talk about those two major projects, which one do you think is going to have a bigger impact on attracting business, or businesses, or growing business? So.
I think the advanced technology thing is we can get by and do something different about the road, but I mean, I think the Advanced Technology Center is really the element of our future. The road will be built, period, eventually, whatever we have to do, but the Advanced Technology Center, we need it now. We need it as soon as possible, moving forward and educating our students and getting them ready for the future.
Okay. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna stand on the side with Tim on that. I'm not gonna make a statement on that one way or another because you can't divide those two. I mean, you gotta have infrastructure. You gotta be able to get around town. I work in that area.
Okay.
Every day.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, it is horrendous. The traffic over that area. You've got to have it to relieve congestion. It has to happen. But at the same time, to even think for 1 second that we're going to put our infrastructure transportation over our children. No, that's never that would never happen.
Okay.
I would fight that as a private citizen. That's never going to happen.
Okay.
not as far as I have anything to do with it.
Okay. Carolyn, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think I understood what your question was. If you had to choose, what would it be?
Yeah.
So I don't think any of us would want to choose.
Of course not.
I think both are very important projects. But if it came down and you had to make a decision, because sometimes you do, or if money was earmarked for one and you didn't have it for the other, then I guess, I would have to go back to, I always try to lean on my constituency, and you don't have referendum power or anything like that, but you can always just listen to the people, and query them, I guess, because my one opinion may not be the majority's opinion.
Okay. Sorry, and I hope everybody appreciates, that definitely is a sticky question, and I do not want to put words in Tim's mouth, and start rumors, or that either one of you. Yeah, well, obviously everybody hopes that it all comes, but it's just an interesting mindset or thought process of kind of what we're doing, and it honestly leads into the next one, and that's the discussion about master plan. So who got the master plan?
I got the master plan.
All right. So, and hopefully my question made some sense, and hopefully nobody takes it out of context. I was not, I don't know. I guess at this point, if we start a bunch of rumors around Etowah County, hey, it'll just be more fun for the political season.
No, it
So I just don't want to get any three of y'all in trouble.
We'll have said something by the time we get off of here.
That's right.
Yeah. So, hey, if you're getting calls from the governor's office, sorry, I apologize. So master plan, again, that's been something that has definitely been beat up a lot. So we'll jump right into what role can the county commissioners play in the development and execution of a countywide master plan. So, Jeff, over to you.
Okay. We have 11 municipalities in the smallest geographical county in the state. Everybody has their own community, they have their own city, their own town, and they're proud of them. They're proud of their heritage. I mean, Dallas fixing to do their 150th birthday next weekend. People are proud of their heritage. They're proud of what they have and what they do. But but go back to government structure that we talked about earlier. We as a county, I said this earlier, we as a county are here to assist the cities in the ventures that they're wanting to undertake. And we can assist them when it's legally and financially possible for us to do that as county commissioners. But a master plan can't go forward when you put into question the autonomy of the community, of the cities. The cities have legal charters, and they are operational, and so you've got to maintain their legal charters. Now, are there some things that we could do? Possibly. I think that's something that you would have to have your commission and your mayors sit down and discuss. Your Mayors Association is very active in this community, and they have regular meetings and are able to discuss things on a regular basis. I think that'd be a great idea. Let me just touch on this real quick. We've already have one county operation that we put in place about 15 to 20 years ago that's still operational today, and that's our drug task force. And I was around when all that took place, when its inception, how it took place, the entire process of moving it through and getting it in place, and it's still here today. So there are some things that we possibly could do, but you basically have to kind of get down in the weeds and see what you can do and make that determination. And you don't want to step on the city's toes. Everybody deserves to be able to have their own community and be able to move forward and live. But as far as the county commission being involved in forming a master plan, I think the situation it'd be something that the cities would need to initiate, and then we would be here to assist if in whatever we could from a facility standpoint.
Okay. Tim, over to you.
I'm going to have to pretty much completely agree with with Jeff. That is exactly right on spot. I mean, a master plan has got to be developed by each entity and then brought together and see how much of those of each one of them's plan can we work together and make all one plan. One of the things that I think that we could do really overall as a master plan would be something in the paving realm, that we could all work together and possibly save some money on all of our paving together instead of Rainbow City working on theirs, and the possibilities of working together in that. Also in waste disposal, we might be able to, as a group, under one master plan, under one idea, if we are able to communicate well like we need to be, and like I think we are right now through the commission, we bring everybody together and say, let's bid this as one county, and we could probably save our taxpayers some money under doing that. So I think that's the master plan, it's listening to the cities around, because the county doesn't have any authority to tell any city anything about what they can do or what they will do. So it's basically listening to the cities about what have you got here, getting with the Mayor's Association and saying, hey, we'd love to help facilitate this. We'd love to be the middle of this thing and start working this all together to make it work best for everybody.
All right. Carolyn, thoughts on master plan?
I agree with both of them, but also I think once you have that master plan, once everyone comes together, and you begin to look at how do you, as Commissioner Ramsey said, look at eliminating duplicating of services, which will save money. But also I think it's important, you have to know each other's plans and where each community wants to go and how they want to move forward. And so I proposed, several years ago, and I would still propose it again, holding annual or biannual work sessions together, to just say, this is what we have planned, for this year or 5 years, whatever the term is, and seeing how we can all work together, and work out plans together. I think that's important.
All right. Well, all right. So we've got one more question left, and that is the business environment question. Which who drew the business environment? Did anybody?
I don't think anybody did.
Maybe that was the missing one.
That was the missing question.
Was that the missing? That was the missing question. Where did the missing question go? All right. Well, then how about this? I am. How about this, Christy? Think of a number 1 through 10. Don't say it. All right. Think of a number 10 through 20. Don't say it, guys. Y'all pick a number 10 through 20, and whoever's closest, you get to go first on that one. So Jeff,
15.
5.
Well, 10 through 20.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about District 5. 12.
11.
All right. Who was closest?
I was 15. I picked 15.
All right. Sweet. Then
I'm going first
then Jeff will go first, and we'll wrap it up. Guys, we're talking about business environment. Again, I want to reiterate, and I'm going to say it probably many more times before August and this whole election season in November, and this election season really gets wrapped up. One of the major things that Advanced Etowah came about was we're talking about economic development, business development. That is really where we're trying to laser focus. There are a ton of issues, and I know I'm getting questions about stuff. Hey, can you ask about this? Can you ask about this? There's a ton of issues that we've got in Etowah County, and some of that stuff we just don't have the bandwidth, the capacity as an organization to really hit on. And we feel like coming out of the rendering plant, a business environment and attracting business and growing business from within, and ultimately creating better jobs. We've heard it said, we need more jobs. We need more jobs. We don't need more jobs in Etowah County. That's actually completely untrue. We have thousands of open jobs. What we need is better paying jobs. And that's really the crux of what we're trying to get at. So we've got to build that business environment. We've got to do things that attract better business. So that's really where we're focused. All of what we're doing is really kind of oriented around that. So With that said, again, I can't beat that drum enough. That's what we really need to be thinking about. At least, again, in our opinion, take it for what it's worth. So I hope I didn't steal too much thunder from the question from these guys. I think everybody kind of knows how we feel about this. But we'll flip it around here. Let me flip the camera around and get it back over. And we're going to finish up with the business environment question. And then we'll give a couple minutes for some closing wrap-up comments from these guys. So here's the question. How do we grow existing business, encourage new business development from current citizens, and recruit new businesses that will increase the household income in Etowah County? And I really want to focus on how do we increase the household income of Etowah County, not just get more job creation. So that's the question. How do we grow existing business, encourage new business development from current citizens, recruit new businesses that will increase the household income in Etowah County? Over to you, Jeff.
Okay, well, I think primarily, just right out of the gate, I think we have to be careful to protect our businesses that are already here. I think that is key. People that have invested their lives in this community, invested their money in this community that are here, we need to be sure that we protect them. And then we also have to provide opportunities, any opportunities that we can come across with as county commissioners, as city council members, as mayors, as whoever they are. We need to be working toward providing opportunities to these business owners for new opportunities, to seek new opportunities, anything that we can do to help them with incentives or anything along those lines to do that. And then as far as recruiting new industry, I think it goes back to exactly what we talked about earlier about education. It all ties hand in hand. We've got to have the workforce. We've got to be able to have a workforce, and not just have a workforce in place, but the ability to develop a workforce. We've got to be able to do that. I think about the mega site that we put in place several years ago, and now has moved forward as well as it has, and has done so well over the years. And I was fortunate enough to be able to start that and to complete it and to get it done. And a lot of people ask the question, well, how long does it take to get something on the mega site? Well, it doesn't take. You can't do it in 2 years unless you're just very fortunate. Baldwin County just did theirs, got a site tenant this week, and but it was a 12-year process to get it, 10 to 12-year process to get it done. So it just takes time, but you continue to work toward that, and you've got to move forward to get the household income built up. That increases quality of life, and it gives everybody additional self-respect. It moves everything toward a greater need for wanting to do more with your life and wanting to do different things in this community. So I think it's just very, very important that we continue to strive forward. That whatever we do, we got the infrastructure in place. We've got the ability and the property in place to move forward and to try to find a place to create those jobs.
All right, Tim.
I think one thing that has to be kind of stated is that a lot of times people are out there saying, well, why don't the city of Gadsden develop this, or why don't they do this, or why don't they do that? But it's actually the people who do that. And the government cannot build that. They can't go and start a business like that and compete. It's the people out there who need to be making that entrepreneurial step. And we have many that have done that with Jason Wilson and Chris Robinson opening up a new venue out there. I think it's called Current, out on the river. Just a big hit there. People like David Chadwick, who have got a huge facility here in Rainbow City. And all the other things, these are people who are doing the things. What we need to do as government is get out of the way as much as we can, be a support staff. And then when an existing business is in place and they want to expand, let's step behind them again like we would a new business that's coming and help them grow. Let's give them the incentives again and help them keep moving forward. I think those are the things that we do as a government entity. We can only facilitate what we can do, getting the education system in place, getting the mega site there. The mega site, if it gets a large tenant, there's going to be multiple things that spring up around here, and we need to be prepared to help support those.
All right. Carolyn?
I think it's all the things that we discussed earlier. It's a combination of things, but it's every level of government working together, from the state to the national to the city, the county, the school boards, the city councils, public-private partnerships, working with the business leaders of the community, not just elected officials, but also just business leaders, business owners, workforce development. Broadband is streamlining, I think, processes of permitting, zoning, and licensing so that it's not such an obstacle for people to open new businesses. Providing incentives to not just to new businesses also, but sometimes it's often needed to retain current businesses so that they don't move across county lines or state lines because they see bigger and better opportunities. Being accessible as county commissioners or elected officials and public servants. And also, I think, as a county commissioner, making sure that we are Etowah County's biggest cheerleaders and talking about Etowah County and our respected municipalities and townships that we serve everywhere we go, whether we're out recruiting industry or at a football game, but making sure that Etowah County is on everyone's mind and on everyone's tongue at the end of the day.
All right. Well, so guys, speaking of business growth and business growth from within Etowah County, before we turn it over and I'll give you guys 2 minutes each to kind of wrap up and share your final thoughts. I think it's a great thing to talk about the Willow Tree, in sponsoring and helping out with all that they've done, not just with doing these roundtables, but I mean they were a headquarters for distribution of signs and all that kind of stuff all through the beginning and all of this fight against the rendering plant. But the big thing as we talk about business growth and development, they actually just broke ground on building and expanding their operation. They are forward-thinking business that is something, and they're one of many businesses in Etowah County that we should all be extremely proud to have in our community, that are reaching out. They're bringing money into the community. And obviously, they're having a lot of fun. The ladies over there, I won't say that I ever watch any of the stuff that they do on Instagram, or on their app. By any means, I would never confess that publicly, certainly not on the internet, but as an internet guy and watching their business and the way they develop, we should be proud to have them in Etowah County and support them in every way that we can. So definitely, if you've been living under a rock here in Etowah and you're not familiar with the Willow Tree, go look them up at willowtree.com and give them some support. So huge thank you to them for all that they've done for Advanced Etowah. So with that being said, let me flip the camera back around. I'm just going to start from left to right. So we'll start with Jeff, my left, not your left. We'll start with Jeff with a 2-minute wrap up, final thoughts, and where you want people to go if they want to find more information about you. But have at it. 2 minutes for a wrap up.
Thank you very much. And let me say once again, appreciate y'all hosting us tonight. Thank you to Rainbow City and to the Willow Tree for everybody that's been involved in making this happen. We appreciate it very much. I served on the county commission for 12 years, and I feel like we accomplished a lot. We were able to do a lot. We were able to make a lot of things happen over the last 12 years that I served. And I want to go back and I want to serve the county commission again, serving that capacity again, to be able to continue along some of the things that we were able to do before and to continue along those again. I've always had a servant's heart. I've had a servant's heart in everything that I've tried to do, and want to continue to do that. And let me just say that you don't campaign, and I think everybody up here can agree with this. You don't campaign on your own. You always campaign with your family. Your family's always, they're in the trench with you every day. And I just want to say thank you to my family for everything that they have done through multiple campaigns over the years and through this campaign to continue to keep pushing me forward. And even in the days that I say, you know what, is it really worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. We stick with it. We continue to do it. And I just want to say how much I appreciate it. I will be serving without a paycheck, and I want to make sure that I get that in there, and my paycheck will be going back to the resident, to the businesses, and not the businesses, but the community of District 4, and just get that back in their hands where they can take and use that for the schools, fire departments, police departments, and then we'll get a couple of other things that we want to do in those areas. But just would appreciate your vote on May 24th. If you want to know more about us, we can go to our Facebook page, Let Jeff Overstreet County Commission, and we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you very much.
All right. Carolyn, 2 minutes for closing thoughts.
Sure. Thank you to Advance Etowah for supporting all of us, and for putting this on tonight. The Willow Tree for sponsoring tonight. And most importantly, thank you not just to my family and friends and supporters, but to the constituents who kind of keep people like us on our toes, and keep us grounded and that sort of thing. And I think there's been no greater honor for me than serving as a county commissioner in the past. I served for 2 terms. I'm experienced, knowledgeable, and I'll be on the job from day one. And however things turn out on the 24th, I'll be glad when the 24th is here either way. But however they turn out, I'll still continue to serve the people of Etowah County and the cities of Gadsden and Otala in any way I can. And so, again, just thank you to everyone that's supported me over the years, and to you all for putting this on tonight. And just looking forward to serving again and asking people to return Carolyn Parker to the County Commission District 5 on May 24th. Thank you.
All right. Tim?
Thank y'all for letting us come here tonight and put that together. And I reiterate what they said. The family is really what pulls us through this. The family is really part that gets beat up on this. And I really appreciate all the family that has helped me in this, all the friends that have stepped forward, all the people out in the district have called and said, hey, I want one of your signs out here. That really means a lot. It really lifts you up and gets you through this fight, and it is a fight. It's a battle every day just to get up and get moving in it and stay with it. I'm looking forward to the 24th. One thing I would like to say about our community, and it is a great community. It is a fabulous place to live. You see people leave here all the time, and they turn around and come back 5 years later when they kind of realize that this is a really great place to be. And I want us as a community to start voicing that. When someone comes forward on Facebook or in person and starts dogging this community, starts dogging this thing out, let's be the positive in that, because I think that has an absolute impact on us as a community, and it has an impact on our kids and what they hear about this community. I want us to move closer together, and I want us to be everything this community can be. And I believe us speaking positive things about this community, true things that are there, I think will actually lift this county up and move us forward. So being a part of this whole system has been very rewarding to me. I look forward to serving again. I think we've done a great job as a group of county commissioners. I'm proud to be part of that. We've accomplished much in the last 4 years. I look forward to working with the surrounding leaders in the cities that I've made great friends with to move us forward together as a county. And that's my goal. I'm going to do this 2 terms. I've kind of announced that. I've done 1. If you guys will have me back in there one more time, that'll be it for me. I'm going to do 2 terms, and I'm going to play with grandkids a while, I believe, after that. So looking forward to that, but I'm fixing to retire from the fire department. So this will kind of be my full-time job if I get this. So looking forward to do it. I would appreciate your vote on May 24th. And with that, thank you very much.
All right. Well, guys, there you have it. Again, thank you so much for your time. I know, it's a precious thing. for all of us, especially this time of the year, and for everybody sitting up here. Everybody's extremely busy, and to take the time to come and sit here in front of us, a couple of cameras, and do this thing on the internet, I'm extremely appreciative of it. I really mean that. And I'm extremely appreciative of any of you guys, any candidates that are willing to put themselves out there, and undergo what you undergo with politics. So we started off with the discussion about leadership, and I want to end it with a discussion on leadership. We are the leaders. We, the citizens, are the leaders of this community. We have to get educated as much as we can. We have to understand. We have to get to know as much as we can about these candidates. And we need to exercise our leadership in directing them on who we vote and communicate with them on what we want as a community. There's a lot of discussion. I've seen some stuff on Facebook today, and you always see comments about, this mayor needs to do this, or this county commissioner needs to do this. Why can't they develop the waterfront? I think it was mentioned earlier. Look, it's up to us to make Etowah County what we want it to be, because we are Etowah County. It's not some ambiguous entity out there. So, guys, May 24th, and I promise you, I am as guilty as anybody else of not putting forth the effort that I should have, not worrying and paying enough attention to what's going on. And that rendering plant thing, it scared the heck out of me, and it's got me awake, and it's got me trying to pay as much of attention as I can. So, guys, again, thanks for watching tonight. Thanks for supporting all that we're doing. Please go check out advancedetowah.com. Click on that election 22, who's running. You've got the candidate profiles. I get it. Everybody's so busy. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you to get access to find the information on these guys and gals, and learn. And if nothing else, make it super easy to get in touch with them, and talk with them one-on-one, message them, call them, send smoke signals to them, however you want to talk to them. But that is, I just can't emphasize that enough. It is up to us as voters, as citizens. This is our county. This is our community, and it's only going to be what we make of it. So, guys, with that, have a great Friday night. And we will catch you in the next one. More to come with some interviews before May 24th, and then working out some roundtable discussions as we roll into the city elections. So, guys, y'all have a great night. Again, thank y'all for coming. I appreciate it.